It's Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. We are joined today by Todd Novak. He is a member of the Wisconsin State Assembly. I've been looking forward to this interview for a few reasons. You're unique in that you're a newsman.
Yes.
And you also are a sitting mayor. Mm-hmm. And that's not so common to be holding two offices and also coming out of the media. I mean, God forbid we media people should wind up in public office. But let's start with the fact that you still are sitting as a mayor. Explain that. How does that work in the state of Wisconsin?
Well, I can serve both positions. I actually was just elected the city of Dodgeville mayor in 2012. So I'm, technically new. I took over from a 20-year incumbent.
Wow.
So I made some major staff changes, and I've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline in the city, and I feel that I need to carry those through. And also another thing that I wanted to stay mayor because it keeps me connected to the community, because I'm on the ground, and it also keeps me connected with other municipalities and other districts. There's a network of mayors, village presidents, so I know what they're thinking, and they have a direct pipeline to me.
But look, I know that Wisconsin's legislature is technically part-time.
Yeah.
I know it's technically part-time, and I know the pay is part-time pay. But look, I mean, this is Wisconsin, big state, almost 6 million people. It's busy. You're busy. You got a lot of big issues before you. So, with all due deference and respect, how do you do both? Mayor of a decent-sized city, assembly member in a decent-sized state.
Well, the mayor's position, I've got a great staff. So that makes a huge difference. When I was elected, I made some major staff changes.
Okay.
I always go into everything as a team approach. So I've got a great team. I spend time when I can in the city. Have office hours still.
Oh, really?
And meet with people.
Unfortunately, Dodge City is close.
Yeah, it's about
Madison.
45 minutes away.
So that helps.
That helps.
Yeah.
And so
You're not in Ashland, is that right?
No. It's easy for me when I'm up here to jump in the car and head back to Dodgeville and do what I need to do there. Yep. Mm-hmm. And do what I need to do there. So it's actually worked out. At first I thought we'll see how this goes, but it's actually worked out great, and it's actually helped me in the assembly position too.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that because folks come to a state legislature with so many different life experiences. Often it could be from city government, could be school board, could be small business. How has your involvement in city government helped inform your role and your participation in state government?
Well, I understand municipal issues very good, and prior to me being elected mayor, I was editor of the local newspaper.
And we'll talk about that. I'm excited
years.
to talk about
that.
So
I'm very well versed on local issues, and like I said, when something is coming up and other elected officials around the district are concerned, they know they can call me, they know I understand it. It's also helped me up here because we have people in the legislature that don't have that municipal background. So I have some of my colleagues, if they don't understand something, they'll come to me and they're like, hey, you're a mayor, how does this work?
But I wonder, is there an internal tension at times? Because, often state funds flow down to local governments, and we know fiscal times can be tight, and so, you got to push-pull.
Yeah, you do have a push-pull. I fortunately come from a city that is in very stable financial position, and we don't get much state aid because we're in a different kind of category. So, I do understand those issues. There is a push-pull, and a couple times my council members have said, "Hey, why are you guys doing this in Madison?" So I explained to them the other angle, and then they understand. So
let's talk about the fact you're a newsman.
I'm a newsman.
As am I guess. And I really want to talk to you about how covering your community, covering politics, how has that informed you as an elected official? I often will get this question, Brad, when are you running for office? You know so much about politics, but you know better than I, since you're doing it, it's a different beast.
Right, it is a different beast, and I was actually the government an associate editor, so that's all I did.
Oh,
was cover,
so
yep. Since 1990, when I started at the paper, I've covered school boards, city councils, county boards, covered the court system, the sheriff's department. So really, the transition was really easy for me because I understood the issues, and it was one of the reasons I decided to run for mayor too. Was that the community asked me to, because there was going to be an opening, and a lot of the business people came to me and say, hey, you've been to every meeting for 25 years.
Literally,
right.
I
think during the campaign, we were trying to count up how many meetings I'd been to, and I think we were at a couple thousand that I had attended over the years. So it was really, the transition was really easy because I had an understanding and grasp what was going on.
So I gotta ask, Newsman, how is it on the other side? I mean, you're usually the one asking the questions. Now I'm asking you questions.
Well, I found out that when you're part of the news community, they treat you different than when you're a newsmaker. How's that?
No doubt.
Yes.
But I gotta say, talking to you, it's like there's almost a fraternity going on. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I do,
Right.
and I know what you did. And so, do you feel as if at a certain level it may give you a little leg up?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah,
I don't say that pejoratively.
Well, and one thing I think it's helped me with the news part, being a news in a newspaper all these years, I like to ask questions, as you know. We
yes.
do that very well.
Yeah.
So, and I like to study issues. So when people come in to meet with me, you know, I'm pounding away questions and I'm asking for information, and they really like that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because there is a certain sense that we in the news want to delve deep.
Right.
And at the same time, like you suggested, you know, we become mini experts
Right.
in a lot of different areas, and that's what you got to do in the Capitol.
Right.
I mean, you literally need to become an expert in so many different fields. Obviously, you can't do it all.
No.
So now that you're here, what are your pet projects, or what issues drive you?
Well, one of the reasons I ran was where I'm from a rural district, rural
Right.
community, and there's been such an uptick in drugs and crime in the rural areas. So that was a huge issue with me, and something that I've kind of made a pet project out of, you know, steering resources to our area. I believe that we need to give the police the tools they need, and the courts the tools we need to address these problems. So that's kind of been a priority of mine, and of course municipal issues, which come so easily to me. You know, the boring things of TIF law and issues like that.
Boring to us.
Yeah,
Not
you know,
boring to us.
I've taken a lead on those kind of issues.
So I understand you have a nickname in the Capitol, and it's a landslide.
Landslide Todd.
Landslide Todd. So let's talk about your election. I believe it was the closest election in 2014.
Yes.
By how many votes?
65.
Not bad. Every
bad.
vote counts. Every
bad.
vote counts.
Every vote counts.
Talk to me about that. You know, in a lot of ways, I think, you know, it can make you stronger. I mean, it
does.
shows you, you know, how close it can be. So talk to me about that evening and how it has informed you since you've been here.
Well, and kind of to explain, I had a three-way race. I had a Democrat opponent and a Libertarian opponent. And so the Libertarian kind of...
yeah, you never know how that cuts. It can pull Dems and Reeds.
He cut into me, and I come from an area where my family's been there for 150 years. We have a family farm.
Is it a swing district?
Swing district.
Parlance?
Swing district. My Libertarian opponent, also from the same county, grew up 10 miles from where I grew up.
You know him or her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well-known last name, like my name, and he took 5% of the vote, but 4% of that vote was out of my home county. So him and I were splitting. So that made it a little difference. But that night it was up and down. And
were you behind at any point?
I was behind on TV. It was really funny because we had real-time numbers, but on TV I was always behind. So we knew we went right down to the last two precincts that came in.
So, presuming you're running for re-election,
yes.
Where do you go from here? You know, it'll be 2016, a presidential year, higher voter turnout. Could help or hurt, depending how you analyze it?
Well, my district is very unique. They truly have they're the famous ticket splitting district.
Tell me what you told me.
I'm the only Assembly Republican that was elected in a district that Mary Burke actually carried.
Who was the Democratic nominee for governor?
Governor,
right.
Yes. And so they're famous ticket splitters. They have a very partisan but independent streak.
Yeah.
If they like you and you relate to them, they support you. So
it was my pleasure to meet you. Thanks
All
for joining us. His name is Todd Novak. He is a member of the Wisconsin State Assembly. My name is Brad Pomerance. You are watching Charter Local Edition. That was great.